APC and PDP, like I said, they're a monster with two heads. APC. I am so proud of my principal, who was so stingy.
You are proud of your principal. Oh yeah, tell us why you are proud of him.
He went to Chatham House and refused to share questions. He was answering the questions.
Hey, okay, now let's watch him, answer the questions before we have what to say,
Of Nigeria's strongest supporters, and I think this is a country which is worth investing in. Thank you.
One question, short, please. Give your name.
Good evening. It's William Owomayi, the UK's young ambassador to the Commonwealth and a member of Chatham House. You've caught Nigeria by storm in recent months with your campaign and your vision to unify Nigeria, mobilizing young people all across the country. You mentioned debt a few times in your speech. Currently, the government is repaying debt to the central bank at an interest rate of 19.5%, which is extremely high. How do you plan to support the next generation?
The government is
repaying the central bank debt by 19.5% interest rate. How do you plan to support the next generation by dealing with the debt repayment crisis? And also, how do you plan to deal with tackling financial transparency in Nigeria? The central bank hasn't released its balance sheet in about 3 years.
Thank you. There you go, Peter. 3 questions.
Let me start with my sister there. He talked about the big. What you're saying is about the big boys who are selling generators. Let me assure you what we've been campaigning on. Our campaign, you have heard them say we don't have structures. That is the structure we're trying to destroy. Structure of criminality. That is what I mentioned. That Nigeria is being held captive. That structure is structure that has impoverished Nigeria. We will dismantle it. It will not be there. I assure you of that. We're going to turn around the power sector. Nigeria generates about, today, 56,000 megawatts of electricity for 200 million people. And South Africa, the second biggest in terms of economy in the continent, 5 to 6,000, that's been 5 to 6,000, sorry. And South Africa, the second biggest economy, 60 million people, generates about 40 to 50,000. And South Africa, in the past 3 months, have declared emergency in power and said anybody can generate up to 100 megawatts without license. So somebody who is 60 million, generating about over 40,000, declared emergency. What do you think somebody with 2 million people generating 5 to 6,000 will do? War. I'm going to declare war on power, and I'll solve it. Bringing back foreign investor is very simple, Paul. Foreign investor is like bee and honey. All you need is to create honey. The way bee will find the place is very simple. Foreign capital is scared of corruption. It's scared of bad policies. It's scared of where there's no rule of law. You need to put a regulatory environment that makes it conducive. You need to secure it. That is at the heart of what Dati and I are offering. We will build that intangible assets of securing the country, making sure that we govern to rule of law. We will fight corruption. Dati have a record that is the only National Assembly member who refused to buy property of government when it was offered to all National Assembly members. You can go and look at his record. If you have seen anywhere he has compromised or put himself in a transactional position. And I'll stop running. I know how I approached him. And I told him, I and you owe it to save our people. That's why we came together. And we came back and said, we'll work as a team. We'll solve this problem. Go and check my record. I've governed the state for 8 years. And I've challenged everybody. Paul, you were there. I've been the only governor till today. The day I left office, I was not owing salary, pension, gratuity, or any contract or any supplier. And I left in 3 banks in Nigeria, which I say every day. Access Bank of Nigeria, Fidelity Bank of Nigeria, and Diamond Bank. I left over $150 million. Dollars, I didn't say naira. And I have over 30 billion naira. And Anambra State, you can go and verify anywhere. I've never had a bottle. Anambra State have never bought me. There's no land allocated directly or indirectly by me, and I signed over several thousands of C of O. Anambra has never bought me a bottle of water since I left office. So you can go. We will fight and stop corruption. The first thing about stopping corruption is yourself. If you're not involved, your wife is not involved, your family is not involved, those around you are not involved, you reduce it by over 50%. We must build a new Nigeria. And we'll deal with that. Investors will come back. Those who left, even the young people who are today living, they'll come back. We want to bring them back. Nigerians are prepared to come back if they can find that they have a country to go back to. This green passport, people must be proud to use it. On issue of capital, where do you find money? My young brother, there's nothing wrong in borrowing. Borrowing is a legitimate way of every government I've studied in the world borrow. Even Britain, as we speak, owns over 70% of their GDP. Every government I know lives on borrowing. Even Norway, with 1.4 trillion sovereign wealth, is owing. The economies of the world, the 3rd biggest nation in the world is America. The debt of America today is almost 100% of their GDP. The second, China, is almost owing over 60% of their GDP. Japan owes over 230% of their GDP. But let me tell you the difference. Japan is owing over 230% of their GDP. They invested the money to save their economy. And in that, even with that, Japan is still the highest holder of US treasuries. So there's something they can fall back on. What has happened? So borrowing is not wrong. If I have done, I compare 2 countries that borrowed with Nigeria and how well they've done. But what has happened is that when you borrow for consumption, you have a crisis. Nigeria borrowed for consumption. Nigeria in 2015 had a GDP per capita of $2,550. And they were owing about 15 trillion naira. Today, with central bank ways and means, we're owing over 75. So we have grown that debt by about 400%. But our per capita is 2,000. That means that the money we borrowed was thrown away. So that is what I'm going to revert. We will restructure the debt as it is today. We will restructure it and put it a long time to be able to pay it. I'm a finance person, that is one. And then we will not say, like I said here, no more borrowing for consumption. We will still borrow, people will see it, it will be transparent, it will be for investment. And that's what we intend to do. Countries have been in this situation before. We're not in a situation where other countries haven't passed before. It's a question of showing leadership, and we will be able to solve it. Thank you.
See boldness now. See the way he's talking. He was in charge. He wasn't thinking of what to say. He was just giving it. Back. No wonder Mr. Kenneth is proud. Oh.
I am so proud of my principal. He was answering the questions. In contradiction to the generous APC candidate who went there and shared all the questions for other people to answer.
Let's rewind and watch him again. So we are going to compare the two of them now. Let's rewind and see both Chatham House This one is not town hall. This one is Chatham House. It's not different from Baba Blue.
4 questions there, which were, how are you going to unify Nigeria after elections? That's the final one. Health. What are your health policies for Nigeria if you become president? The other one was the lady, I forget your name. Priscilla asked about, are you going to do one-to-ones? And also there's speculation about a number of issues around yourself. I guess I've read on the internet about health and various things. People are asking questions. And then there was the final question about that the UK-Nigeria defense partnership doesn't seem to have delivered. What would you like to see, a bilateral defense arrangement with the United Kingdom? How could it help Nigeria? Those were the questions.
Okay, like I would still want to adopt some of the method I did to show the team and the capacity that we have. The woman leader for APC can answer the question on the health, I believe. That personal question, I will leave it to the last contribution.
Okay. So Priscilla, you'll get answered last of all. Yeah. Please go ahead.
And
go ahead, please, on health. Let's move ahead.
And then we'll call on the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Bajabi Amila, to contribute on this, on the second question.
Now, wow.
It's such a shameful thing.
So shameful. They talk this one, they go. Huh. Mr. Kenneth, let me ask you, what do you think about PDP and APC?
As you can see, the PDP and the APC, I said they should go into competition to know who failed more. What APC is talking about PDP is absolutely correct. What PDP is talking about APC is absolutely correct. What APC is talking about itself is absolutely a lie. What PDP is talking about itself is absolutely a lie. APC and PDP, like I said, they're a monster with two heads. PD, APC.
God bless PD, APC.
PD, APC. It's like Mr. Jagaba knew that they were of the same thing. That's why he merged them together. I gave them a new name, PD, APC.
APG and PDP. Tinibu and Atiku, they are equal and opposite. One is a Miloko of the north, another one is a Miloko of the south.